I just wanted to come on here before this episode started and give you guys a little disclaimer. Abuse and several other types of abuse will be mentioned in this podcast, just so you guys are aware. And I will be leaving some timestamps so you guys could go ahead and skip over them if you feel uncomfortable hearing them. Thank you.
Hi, guys, and welcome to God's Good Grace podcast. I'm your host, Bella,
And I'm your host, Melody.
and today we will be telling you guys our testimony.
Yes, so would you like to go ahead and start about how it was growing up for us so I could know a little bit?
Growing up for me and Melody, it was, we knew God. We knew who God was. We grew up knowing who God was, our parents telling us, that God was real and that there was mean people in this world as well. They ended up getting a divorce, our parents, so it was very difficult. Would you like to tell them how it was for you, Melody?
Yes, for me, like we were little, 7 and 5 years old. I just remember being confused and sad. I was sad because we weren't able to see our mom. And our guardian that had us was very mean and was never there throughout our whole entire lives, honestly. And I just remember feeling sad. And how about you, Bella?
For me, it was really difficult, as being like a 5-year old, not knowing what was going on. It was really hard for me, knowing or not knowing, but trying to understand what was going on. But it was really difficult for me as well.
Yeah, for me as well. And growing up while they were getting divorced and fighting for our custody, I remember I started rebelling out because I didn't know when my mom was there. Our guardian would manipulate us, would lie to us, and at that age, elementary age, going to middle school, I was already hitting puberty. I was starting to get confused and just getting upset because I wanted to know the answers of why did they divorce. I thought that our mom left us. Why? Because I would ask questions as a little girl to our guardian, and he would take advantage of my innocence that I didn't know that they were getting divorced, and he would lie to me. My sister Bella didn't believe him at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe him at all. He would also tell me lies, that our mother abandoned us, and it was very, very difficult and very confusing for a child to be hearing two different stories. But for me, it brought a lot of anxiety and depression, and it caused me to gain weight, and that gaining weight caused bullying at school a lot, and that's what affected me also a lot, of the divorce and then being bullied at school for gaining weight.
Yeah, and I remember me while that was happening. It lasted for 7 years, guys. Throughout those years, I remember I was becoming a bully. Like my sister, she was getting bullied. I was becoming a bully to other kids, and I was just being rude and mean to other kids because I myself felt sad that I couldn't see my mom and that I wanted my mom because I realized that we needed our mom. But at the same time, like I would believe the lies that she left us for money. That's what I would think. I wouldn't want to go with her, and I started rebelling out on her. I didn't want to go with her. It hurt her. I started behaving with bad kids, skipping my schools, hanging out with the wrong kids, the wrong influences that led me to later on in high school because I started hanging out with the wrong people again in high school as well. It led me to smoke. And actually, guys, I remember at 15, because at 15, you get quinceañeras. And at 15, I remember that 15th birthday is just the worst birthday I could ever imagine. It was horrible. And our guardian, like, it was horrible, didn't comply. I remember crying almost the whole entire time planning it because I wanted our guardian there to be there and support and to practice. And I remember that quinceañera, how do I say it? I was lukewarm. right? I just remembered that on my 15th birthday, I drank. I was starting to fall into, because he would also drink, I was starting to fall into that chain of alcoholism and becoming an alcoholic. I remember, I don't know if Bella remembers, but I remember that I was drinking, guys. Drinking at 15. At 15 years old, 14, 15 years old, I was already drinking.
For me, I remember that day, I did catch her and I did tell her, like, hey, what are you doing? But my aunt, she actually, it was her wedding and she had offered me liquor. And she's like, here, try it. And I was a kid and she would hit me as well, so I was afraid. So I drank it and it was the people over there, they were demons. Aunt, she actually, it was her wedding and she had offered me liquor. And she's like, here, try it. And I was a kid and she would hit me as well, so I was afraid. So I drank it and it was, I don't
It's just
know.
something you don't do to kids like us. And our household was lukewarm, and that's what we saw. And we were also just getting treated ugly, getting pushed down by ugly words. We were getting told by our grandma as well, Bella.
They were verbally, physically, and emotionally abusing me and, my sister as well. It was very, very hard, being verbally, physically, and emotionally abused by people that you're living with isn't the best. It's like it it affects you a lot, especially like you're living with them daily, so you don't know what's going to come out of them. You just know that it's going to be something bad. It was just really hard, and it's something that a child shouldn't be going through, or a teenager shouldn't be going through at that age. It's just something that where you should have innocence and not have that exposed. And me and my sister Melody, we weren't able to have that innocence, and be a kid.
Yeah, I got taken away at a very young age after they got divorced. Our guardian at the time also sexually abused me, touched me in ways that a father shouldn't be touching a daughter. And I didn't know about that because he was someone who never showed affection. It's so disgusting how it was basically, guys, our guardian was our father, our biological DNA type of father. But we don't consider him that. That title isn't for him. But that's why we call him guardian, because that's what he was at the time. That name doesn't even imply with him either, but that's the only word we could find. He was just disgusting. He would sexually touch me in ways that a daughter shouldn't be like getting told I love you in that way, right? Like, usually your father or mom come to you like I love you, like a hug, but I wouldn't get that. And I just remember just getting touched those ways, and I remember thinking at that time when that would happen, why is this happening? And I would just wonder, like, I feel so uncomfortable. Why do I feel so uncomfortable with my own guardian touching me? Like, I would wonder that. Why do I feel so uncomfortable? And since then, guys, at that little young age, I was, what, 12, 11 years old, all the way to 15 almost years old, guys. It continued. But it would only happen when he didn't have girlfriends. Because he was someone who would always go with girlfriend and girlfriend. I don't know if that also happened to Bella. You just remember horrible things that you would wonder, why do you feel this way with this person?
For me, whenever he didn't have a girlfriend, I think I was like 6 or 7. He didn't have a girlfriend, and at the time, he wasn't doing anything bad. He was just like, we ended up getting close, but like in a daughter and father way. Um, And it kind of brought a lot of separation anxiety with me, to like with him. And it was really hard for me, and I didn't understand why I was feeling that certain way until he got a girlfriend. And then as the times went by, when he wouldn't get a girlfriend, it got different whenever I started hitting puberty. And I didn't see it like that in that way, but I was feeling uncomfortable as well. I just never saw it in that way. And now that I think about those times, it's like he was doing that to me also, even though in my mind I was like, oh, well, I guess this is normal.
Yeah, that's what I also thought. I would think like, oh, I guess this is how a girl gets touched by their dad. I used to think that as well because we were so young, guys.
You know, it was confusing. And he would also tell us like things sexually, and it was very disgusting at such a young age. Like, just imagine, like, you can't even imagine this, and if you can, it's like very sad because, like, your parent telling you, I used to kiss you when I was little. Like,
Oh yeah, that's so true. That would happen whenever I remember. I don't know what was happening, but he would like say that when we were little, he used to kiss us on our lips, and that it's okay if we would
now
be
that
like,
we're older, and time he did it to me in front of one of his friends, and he had said that, and I remember he was like grabbing me, and I was like, no. And he was like, no, come on. Like, you would do it to me when you were little. And I was like, yeah, but I was little. I was a baby. You know, I didn't know. And that's what kind of brings me afraid to think, like, did he do something to me when I was little? If he's doing this to me right now, like, that's what made me uncomfortable. Those thoughts that I would have also, it made me super uncomfortable around him.
we got emotionally abused there, sexually abused there, verbally abused there, and he would just say that we were dumb, that we were stupid, that we shouldn't be doing this, that we're no better than him. Like, he would make our own guardian would make us feel insecure of ourselves as well.
Yeah, he would tell us, like, if you don't have me in your life, what do you have? Nothing. That's how it was. And it was hard for a kid also because he would punish us by getting us ripped clothes, by not talking to our mom. You know, it was hard just to live there.
Yeah, that's why in high school, I hung out with wrong people, and I started like vaping because I was trying to like take away that whole feeling that happened. But now that I look back at it, I was doing it to get rid of that pain, of that insecurities that he just projected on and on her. Like,
Yeah, he would make fun of us really bad, to the point where you didn't even want to live in this world. Like,
yeah,
how could a father do that to his own children of blood? And it's very cruel. But it was just so difficult, I didn't want to be in this world anymore. And I remember um at such a young age, at the age of 3rd grade, guys, a child wanted to kill herself. Like, can you imagine that? It was so much pain on me that I couldn't handle anymore. But when I was going through those times, God had showed me how my mom was going to be if I would have done that, and I didn't do it. And then I tried it again, when I was in 5th grade. And that time, my sister, she actually came in the room. She had basically saved me, or God used her, to go to the room to save me because I was gonna do it. And it's really sad, to think that.
it is really sad to just think how. Also, I had suicidal thoughts starting from 6th grade because at that age, I started to like comprehend a little bit more of what was happening. And I remember, guys, exactly at the mall in the food court and there was surprisingly almost no people at the mall food court. And I remember my grandma was just talking to me about the divorce, and they were just putting things in my mind, guys. Literally, I think they were just demons, honestly, because like our mom was the one that taught us about God and that was teaching us and guiding us, like to grow with God. But after she left, and I stopped going to her, I became lukewarm, guys. And I just remember them telling me that, and I started crying at the mall food court, and I just said it out loud. I was like, I want to kill myself. And my aunt and my grandma were like, don't say that. But they were the one telling me these ugly things. And I also attempted to do it. Like, I was planning on harming myself, cutting myself, because I wanted to leave. I just didn't like it anymore. We felt that this was just so miserable on us as little girls. And how Bella was saying, if we would have taken our lives, who would have known that we would be here? You know, like, who would have known that me and Bella would be sitting down right here in the home with our mom now, spreading the word of God. And like, if we could have seen everything, like, imagine, guys, if we did. Bella, imagine. Like, do you guys need to just know that don't let whatever you're going through take away your life, guys, because who knows how many blessings you're cutting off.
Yeah, like it is gonna be really hard if you're like going through a divorce. It is different, with every divorce. So just don't take away your life, because just imagine God, you know, looking over his child and just seeing them unalive themselves. And it's really sad. Don't think that you're ugly. Don't think that you're horrible, that you're an accident, because there's a reason why you came into this world. Just know that it's not your fault. I used to think it was my fault. I don't know if you, Melody, used to think that.
Yeah, I used to think it was my fault too, and because of that, I would blame myself and force myself to become the mom.
Yeah, and God has a plan for you, He has a wonderful plan for each and every one of us. Our dad, God had a plan for him.
Has a plan
And
for him.
still has, yeah. Has a plan for him, and that's why we're with him and we're with our mom now. God used him because he knew that my mom needed, a husband and that we needed a dad.
Because we didn't have that growing up. And despite all this, we came with our mom and finally got over, guys. And honestly, guys, just because I didn't want to come with my mom, that is why we never came with our mom. And I finally chose to come with her, and we finally came with our mom. And I'm going to say how it has been for me, and then Bella will go ahead and say hers. For me, after we came with our mom, guys, we finally have the love that we need to flourish and to just grow as people. We learned and we have healed from our traumas that happened at that home. And since then, guys, our mom has just taken us to church. We've been praying, and well, I finally gave my life to Christ a year ago on October the 30th. I gave my life to Christ, and since then, He has changed my life profoundly. And no, it hasn't been easy though, going through these trials and tribulations because the devil just wants to come and destroy us, to kill us again. But that's not going to happen because we're with God. We're on God's side because He is our Father. And thanks to Him and His grace and His mercy, He forgave me for all the sins that I did, for the lukewarm faith that I had, and for the way that I was so mean and ugly to people. I'm so glad that I found God and that God came and changed our lives. And I hope that He does the same for you guys, and He will, because He is miraculous and He's big and powerful. How about you, Belle?
For me, I also gave to Christ on October the 30th. He changed me a lot, the way that I thought, the way that I felt about others. He showed me how to forgive the people who hurt me. You know, he God helped me love myself again, how I am, my personality, everything about myself. He made me love myself again. He let me forgive those who hurt me, and showed me why we should forgive them, because he forgave me for all my sins and all the things that I was doing wrong, in my life. And I just hope that God could do the same thing for you, because he could change you. At the end, it's very beautiful.
Yes, he just renews you, and his Holy Spirit just dwells in you, guiding you through everything. And thanks to him, we are here.
Yeah.
And we look better than ever. Even though right now we're going through trials, we're going through temptations, we just know that at the end the fight is going to be won by him. And we're so glad that you guys just came along
to listen with us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.